Hey guys, today I'm going to do a study on Exodus chapter 16, so let's get into it. The entire Israelite community departed from Elam and came to the wilderness of Sin, which is between Elam and Sinai. On the 15th day of the 7th month after they had left the land of Egypt, the entire Israelite community grumbled against Moses and Aaron in the wilderness. The Israelites said to them, "If only we had died by the Lord's hand in the land of Egypt, when we sat by pots of meat and ate all the bread we wanted. Instead, you brought us into the wilderness and made this whole assembly die of hunger." So previously, they grumble about they grumble about what we're gonna drink, and then the Lord provided water for them, and now they're complaining that. Now they're complaining that they should have died in Egypt because they were food there, and we could eat all the parts of meat and all the bread we wanted, but now there's no food, and even though they were complaining about water. And now and water was provided, and now they're complaining about food. Then the Lord said to Moses, "I'm going to rain bread from heaven for you. The people are to go out each day and gather eat enough for that day. This way I will test them to see whether or not they will follow my instruction." On the sixth day, when they prepare what they bring it will be twice as much to gather on other days. No. So yeah, the Lord said I'm going to rain bread for them, and each day they're gonna gather enough for that day. So they're not gonna gather more than enough or less than enough. They're just gonna gather what they need. And on the sixth day, they will gather twice as much. So Moses and Aaron said to all the Israelites, "The evening you will know that it was the Lord who brought you out of the land of Egypt. And in the morning you will see the Lord's glory, because he has heard your complaints about him. For who are we that you complain about us?" Moses continued, "The Lord will give you meat to eat this evening, on the bread you want in the morning, for he has heard the complaints that you raised against him. Who are we? Your complaints are not against us, but against the Lord." Then Moses told Aaron, "Say to the entire Israelite community, come before the Lord, for he has heard your complaints." So Moses and Aaron said to all the Ravina that this evening you would know that once again the Lord was the one who brought you out of Egypt, and you will see the glory of God because he heard all about your complaints. So the Lord will give you meat to eat this evening and all the bread you want in the morning. And he also says, when you complain to us, you're not complaining to us, you're complaining to the Lord. As Aaron was speaking to the entire Israelite community, they turned towards the wilderness, and there in the crowd, the Lord's glory appeared. The Lord spoke to Moses, "I've heard the complaints of the Israelites. Tell them at twilight you will eat meat. In the morning you will eat bread until you're full. Then you will know that I am the Lord your God." So the Lord once again appeared and spoke to Moses, and he says, "I've heard them complaining. So in the twilight they will eat meat, and then in the morning they will eat bread." So at the evening, quail came and covered the camp, and morning there was a layer of dew all around the camp. When the layer of dew evaporated, there were fine flakes on the desert surface, fine as frost on the ground. When the Israelites saw it, they asked one another, "What is it?" because they did not know what it was. Moses told them, "It is bread the Lord has given you to eat. This is what the Lord has commanded. Gather as much of it as each person needs. Person needs to eat. You may take 2 quarts per individual, according to the number of people each of you has in his tent." So the Lord puts quail came and covered the camp, so he sent the quail down, and also he sent bread no other. It was he sent out rain, and then the dew evaporated, and then there were fine flakes on the desert surface, and it looked like frost on the ground. And they couldn't, and the Israelites didn't even know it was bread, but Moses told them, "It's the bread the Lord is giving you to eat." And he also said you may take only 2 quarts per individual, according to the number of parts of the people each of you has in his tent. So each day they can only take 2 quarts per person. So the Israelites did this. Some gathered a lot, some a little. When they measured it by quarts, the people who gathered a lot had no surplus, and the person who gathered a little had no shortage. Each gathered as much as he needed to eat. So the Israelites were gathering some, and they measured it, but when they measured it, it came out perfectly. So they gathered it perfectly, because I think this is like a mini miracle that God did, because they got perfectly what they needed the first time. Moses said to them, "No one is to let any of it remain until morning." But they did not listen to Moses. Some people left part of it until morning, and it bread worms that stank. Therefore Moses was angry with them. So Moses said, do not leave any, eat all the manna, and don't leave any of it until morning. Because manna is the bread. But they didn't listen to Moses. Some people left parts of it until morning. So they were trying to save some of it. And since they left it over morning, it bred worms and stains, so it expired. And Moses was angry with them, so he was pretty angry. They gathered every morning. Each gathered as much as he needed to eat. But when the sun grew hot, it melted. But on the 6th day, they gathered twice as much food, 4 quarts apiece, and all the leaders of the community came and reported this to Moses. He told them, "This is what the Lord has said. Tomorrow is a day of complete rest, a holy Sabbath to the Lord. Bake what you want to bake, and boil what you want to boil, and set aside everything left over to be kept until morning." So, he said, on the 6th day, they gathered twice as much, and the reason why they gathered twice as much food is because the next day will be a day of rest, Sabbath, so you ought to bake what you want to bake and boil what you want to boil, and set aside everything left over to be kept until morning, so they're supposed to set aside, 2 quarts of food for each person to be set aside for the Sabbath, because they should not gather stuff during the Sabbath. So they set aside until morning as Moses' command, and did not seem to have maggots in it. So when they left it overnight, it didn't expire like it did before, because this time they're actually following what God is saying. Eat it today, Moses said, because today is the Sabbath to the Lord. Today you will not find any in the field. For 6 days you will gather it, but on the 7th day of the Sabbath there will be none. So he told them to eat it, because today is the Sabbath, and the Lord will not provide any manna on the field. For 6 days you will gather it, you will walk, and on the 7th you will rest, because there will be none. Yet on the 7th day, some of the people went out to gather, but they did not find any. So these people wanted more food, and they didn't listen to Moses, and they were like, "Oh, let's just gather some more," but there weren't any manna on the field. Then the Lord said to Moses, "How long will you refuse to keep my commands and instructions? Understand that the Lord is giving you the Sabbath. Therefore on the 6th day he will give you 2 days worth of bread. Each of you will stay where you are. No one shall leave his place on the 7th day." So the Lord was like, "How long will you refuse to keep my commands and instructions?" Because first time they left bread overnight, and it got expired, and then second time they tried to search for bread on the Sabbath, and there was no bread, even though Moses told them twice not to do that thing. And the Lord said, "You work 6 days, and on the 6th day I'll give you 2 bread worth, so you won't have to do anything on the 7th day." So the people rested on the 7th day. The house of Israel named the substance manna. It resembled a cardinal seed, was white and tasted like wafers made with honey. So manna, it looked like coriander seeds, and it was white, and it tastes like wafers made with honey. So it was sweet. So it was sweet bread, it tastes like honey. Moses said, "This is what the Lord has commanded, to cultivate to be restored throughout your generation, so that they may see the bread I fed you in the wilderness when I brought you out of the land of Egypt." So Moses said, "The Lord has commanded you to keep 2 quarts so that your generation will like see like the food that the Lord has provided us during this time. Moses told Aaron, take a container and put 2 quarts of manna in it, then place it before the Lord to be preserved throughout your generation. As the Lord commanded Moses, Aaron placed it before the testimony to be preserved. So like he told, Aaron put it in a container so that the future generation can see it and it'll be preserved. The Israelites ate manna for 40 years until they came to an inhabitant land. They ate manna until they reached the border of the land of Canaan. They used a measure called an omer, which held 2 quarts. So they ate manna for 40 years because that's how long the journey is. And I think that I don't know if further in Exodus it's going to go like bad in time. I think it will, but like this is saying like how long they will because it's something that they did that made them have 40 years. But I don't know if it's in other books or if it's in Exodus. I forget, but yeah. But they did eat manna for 40 years because that's how long they will be in the wilderness. But yeah, this is a study of Exodus chapter 16, which has God providing like manna and quail, and he has like these requirements about manna and how you can't leave some overnight, and you can't like you have to gather twice of it on the 6th day. You can't gather any of it on the 7th day because there will be none. And like basically they have the trust and divide each manna every single day except for the 7th, and divide twice as much on the 6th. So they have to fully rely on God if they want to survive. So yeah. So if any experienced Christian sees this and I said anything wrong, please correct me. And if you like this video, like it. And if you think I'm doing something good, subscribe. And I will see you the next day if the Lord wills. Bye.